Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for staying with KTV2. It's 8 o'clock, and it means one thing. It's To The Point program you've been waiting for. And tonight we are going to talk about the environment in the state of Kuwait and the world. Environment awareness in the state of Kuwait has risen in the past couple of years. With the green movement sweeping over the world, Kuwait has taken notice of this phenomena and adopted it and important ideas. This idea is not only a global one, but also a local notion that spread amongst every household in the nation. The Kuwaiti government deems it highly important to improve the environment by greening the city. To this end, a great number of landscapes areas are seen around the country, and much effort is expanded in attempts to find the plants which will thrive in the country. We have a lot more in this report. Stay tuned and come back with us.
With the rise of modern Kuwait and the completion of its key institutions, an urgent need emerged to achieve two strategic objectives. First of which is to secure the maximum possible production of food locally under unfavorable environmental conditions, and thus achieve food security. While the second long-term strategic objective is to assist in diversifying sources of national income away from an oil-based economy. The law has granted the Public Authority for Agriculture Affairs and Fish Resources the mandate to supervise land and water utilization for agricultural purposes and to administer all types of activities and industries relevant to landscaping, agriculture and animal production, fisheries and fish production. It has also mandated that the authority shall adopt and implement necessary policies to encourage such activities by availing various direct and indirect provisions, while the authority strives to manage the entire agricultural system in accordance with the highest professional guidelines and standards. The authority has established the livestock sector to deal with breeding techniques, support and contracting for the utilization of holdings which have ranching activities for sheep, goats and cattle, as well as all types of poultry. The sector is also mandated with the prevention and control of animal diseases, minimizing animal injuries, and establishing quarantines to prevent animal infections from being imported to the country. The sector provides comprehensive advisory services about disease prevention, maximum breeding of preferred animals, establishing veterinary centers and laboratories for the treatment of animal and avian diseases and epidemics, in addition to the implementation of other policies and activities pertaining to livestock improvement of the country. The fishery sector organizes fishing activities and develops and protects them. It also pursues myriad alternatives for the reproduction of fish and other marine life. The sector is mandated to protect the marine environment and to maintain the marine ecological balance by providing direct and indirect support in this area to supplement the country's stock of these vital nutrients. In view of the imported fish production dominance over the local production by nearly 65%, the public authority has established Model Aquaculture Farms Project in Kuwait, a milestone initiative on the road to food security and self-sufficiency of fish. Fish farms established in agricultural holdings of production ranges between 300 to 400 tons per year. The landscaping sector is the fourth unit which endeavors to fulfill the Emiri Edict of Kuwait's landscaping and greening. This sector is responsible for developing and implementing the greening and landscaping strategy for the whole area of the state of Kuwait, be it residential, commercial, roads, gardens, parks, or natural reserves. The sector fosters the culture of greening and expansion in the various areas of Kuwait through establishing and maintaining public parks, development of fungal floral plants, and greening initiatives of roads, highways, roundabouts, and the protection of the state's vegetation and agricultural landscape. The sector is also responsible for the development and maintenance of pastures, establishing afforestation projects and natural fenders to protect the environment from diverse climate risks. The greening plan specified the financial costs and the proposed funding sources. The total potential greening area amounts to 23,000 hectares, with the numbers and areas to be cultivated and estimated as follows: 1,000 palm trees, 270,000 of different types of trees, 4 million afforestation trees, 3 million shrubs, 25 million square meters green surfaces, grass and land green coverings, at a total cost of up to 600 million Kuwaiti dinars by the year 2015.
We are back right here to the point, and we're still talking about the environment. And who wants to talk about it? None other than Mrs. Jinan Al-Felichawi. She's from the Public Authority for Agriculture Affairs and Fish Resources. Good evening, and thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. The environment, not only the marine, not only the desert, everywhere is being attacked by humans. Probably they know it, and probably they are ignorant about it. But for you and your point of view, you must have some kind of a plan to preserve the environment in the state of Kuwait. So major of the priorities for the Public Authority for the Agriculture Affairs and Fish Resources, you must have something to prioritize the whole situation. What is it exactly?
Well, PATH in general, we provide a lot of services to the public. And within PATH, there are several departments that hold the same duties as well, one of which being the landscape department. The landscape department is usually responsible for design, implementation, maintenance of various works such as roads that are around different areas of Kuwait, parks, zoos, and other forestry areas. As well as they evaluate and coordinate with other projects as well to help greenify and maintain the greenery that's around in the country. So that's just one of the roles that the landscape department plays.
Okay, wonderful. Now we all know that the state of Kuwait, geographically, the location of it right close to the equator line. That means that in the summertime it gets so hot, so hot.
Yeah.
And in the wintertime it's kind of a little bit brutal when you be yourself inside the desert. It's kind of a little bit cold. So therefore you might have some kind of archaeological defects in the environment. Probably the heat index might ruin something in the environment.
Of course.
What exactly that you have in plan to preserve our environment from the brutality of our weather, whether it's in the summertime or in the wintertime?
Well, we know, yeah, definitely that there are scorching heats, especially in the summertime. Usually the resources, the water resources are limited as well, even rainfall in Kuwait. And that could lead to a huge issue in terms of maintaining the lifespan of vegetation out in the desert or anywhere. It could be gardens, outdoors, indoors. But it's very vital that in order for us to preserve the issue, there are some alternatives that we have looked into in terms of like design plan. I don't know if you've heard of the xeriscaping, where it's a type of design where instead of they use different materials like rocks, mulches to actually help with the trapping the moisture on the soil to help hydrate the plants as well. There's different types of plants that they do use that they could actually tolerate the temperatures, the scorching heats, or if it's also cold in the wintertime. PAF has also been trying to use more of the native plants in Kuwait, like sidra or bambar, that can actually tolerate the scorching heats. So if they use that as an alternative, it may help to prolong the vegetation life.
That's wonderful. We all know that most of us here, not only in Kuwait, all around the world, they love camping. And the camping season in Kuwait starts in November and ends at the end of March. And imagine the devastation that people leave after they leave the desert. They ruin the soil. They kill everything inside the desert and outside the desert. We cannot forbid them from going over there, but we can legalize some kind of, rules and regulations not to do this and not to do that. For you and from your own perspective, what exactly we need to educate the people to have fun but do not destroy our environment? What exactly you have in mind?
Well, that starts by just educating them at a younger age not to litter, not to, when they go to a location.
Easier said than done.
It is easier said than done, yeah. I agree with you with that. It's very difficult because I myself, I love camping as well. So just looking at all the litter that's left behind, it's heartbreaking to see because it does ruin a lot of the vegetation that's out there. You can only hope that, as much as you want to implement laws, a lot of people are going to break them.
I know. You mentioned something about educating the younger generation.
Correct, yeah.
Do you have plans for doing that? Do you have a collaboration with other like ministries, like education, information us and stuff like that? Do you have a collaboration with them to educate the public as well as the young generations?
Well, the extension department that's in PAF, where they're responsible for actually promoting and helping to spread the awareness to the public and educating them about the importance of growing plants, the importance of greenifying Kuwait because of all the environmental benefits that it has, not only on the environment, but also on a personal level, because it's therapeutic when you're working with plants. It can reduce levels of stress, depression, and what have you. We do work closely with schools, especially during the season when they're in session. We offer presentations on anything and everything related to plants, plant-related topics, and trying to promote the importance of planting. And we also offer workshops for them so that they could, it's a hands-on experience. They get their hands dirty, work in their garden, and they implement everything that's being taught in the classroom, in the school garden, as well as, well, hopefully when they go home, they can implement what they've learned at school.
Fishing seasons around the world, they have some kind of restrictions and they have some kind of dates. You cannot go fishing on this particular date until the end of this date, you understand? Here in the state of Kuwait, only one certain or maybe two certain species are forbidden from hunting them or fishing them, something like that. It's an open season for everybody. That means that you are killing our marine as well as the fish. Why don't you have some kind of forbidding period of time for not fishing in these periods? What do you think? That makes it more breedable for the fish to get larger numbers and give them a chance to breed again and again.
No, that's an excellent point. Of course, there should be rules and regulations and a time frame for everything. But again, trying to implement that and having people to actually listen to those rules and regulations is a little difficult.
They're not listening. So
Unfortunately, they're not.
You have to have a stiff penalties. What do you think?
It's definitely a valid point, yeah. Definitely.
That's why you have the prices of the fish market is way up. Not to mention that we are living right about 1 kilometer from the seashore. And the border of the seashore may be more than 180 kilometers.
Right.
That means way too long. We should have cheaper fish than more expensive fish. What do you think?
Well, I think because of the seas and, you know, there's that pollution that's been happening. I mean, a lot of the fish nowadays is becoming scarce. So
I know that.
Yeah.
We have a report with Alia Yunus, organic gardener, and she is experienced organic planting on the roof. How about that?
Oh, yeah,
Like
that's
planting
fun.
on the roof?
Yeah.
Let's watch this and come back.
بدايتي بالزراعة بلشت قبل السطح. أذكر كنت بابتدائي وعندي كيس بذور أزهار، ما أدري من وين حصلته، فأذكر إني زرعته بالحوش وكنت أسقيه كل يوم، وغبت عنه أسبوع. بعدين جيت لقيت الحوض متروس أزهار، فطبعا حاشتني شوك من النوع الإيجابي القوي، يعني إن شلون بذور صغيرة نتفة بإيدي وزرعتها وطلعت. فمن يومها أنا عندي حب مو طبيعي للزرع، مو طبيعي. السطح كان بالنسبة لي ملاذ، لأن أولاً السطح أنا ما عندي تحت مكان ذاك المكان، وبعدين السطح فيه خصوصية عن الحديقة برا شوية، يعني السطح كأنه جزء من البيت، أي وقت أقدر أصعد فوق، مو مثل الحديقة. وقبل 3 سنوات قررت إني خلاص، إن أنا كنت أزرع يعني بدون دراية بدون علم، فقلت خلاص الحين أبي يكون عندي scientific basis حق الزراعة. فبديت أشتري كتب وأقرأ وأشوف يوتيوب ونت، وسجلت بجامعة أونلاين درست زراعة عضوية، والحمد لله يعني تعلمت وما زلت أتعلم. بالنسبة للعراقيل أو العقبات، العقبة الأولى كانت هي طبعاً عدم الخبرة، والزراعة فيها وايد أخطاء، وعندك أسئلة ما عندك أحد يجاوب عليها، يعني قبل ما كان في يوتيوب أو نت أو ناس تتواصل معاك. العقبة الثانية اللي هي قلة المواد. احنا للأسف سوقنا هني بالكويت يعني فقير جدا بالمواد العضوية، سواء مغذيات عضوية، سواء مبيدات، سواء حتى البذور الجيدة. لكن الحمد لله أنا يعني حاولت أحول هالعقبات حق فرص حقي، يعني موضوع قلة الخبرة أجبرني إني أتعلم، وموضوع فقر السوق خلاني أسوي شغلي بإيدي، يعني سواء كومبوست أو مغذي سمك، مغذي طحالب، حتى المبيدات، كل شيء أسويه أنا بالبيت. نصيحتي حق كل إنسان حاب يزرع، أقول له إن عدم المعرفة ما صار عذر الحين، خلاص يعني المعلومة صارت على بعد كبسة زر من إيدك. بلش طبق واسأل. الحين خصوصا ما شاء الله خاصة هنا عندنا بالكويت، يعني تسألين السؤال في عشرات يجاوبونك عليه وما يقصرون ويساعدون، فمو عذر اني انا ما اعرف. ولا يتحبط، خصوصا بالزراعة المزارع المبتدئ، لان فيها مجهود وتعب، فلما يصير في شيء غلط يتحبط الواحد. اللي اقول له اياه انه شفت هذه لحظة الاحباط، بس تتجاوزها، لا تكمل، لا توقف. من تتجاوزها راح ترد تصعد الأمور، ومعاها معنوياتك ومعاها خبرتك. طموحي، أنا عندي طموحين، واحد على المستوى الشخصي وواحد على مستوى الناس. بالنسبة للمستوى الشخصي أتمنى أني أوصل لدرجة احترافية، بحيث أني حتى المبيدات العضوية ما أضطر أني أستخدمها، وهالشيء هذا ممكن. وطموحي الثاني أتمنى أني أنا أشارك بأني أخلي في كل بيت على الأقل مزارع.
Still with us here in the studio from Public Authority for Agriculture Affairs and Fish Resources, Mrs. Jinan Al-Faydachawi. We were talking about the environment and the agricultural stuff. But now let's focus a little bit about the people and their initiatives and what exactly they are doing to keep the state of Kuwait greener than it was before. Therefore, they have some kind of an own plantation of their own houses. They have a plantation on their own houses. What do you think that your authority, PAAF, that's what you represent, correct?
Correct.
Do you have some kind of collaboration with the individuals and your entity?
Well, we do offer our personal expertise and support for people who have any questions or concerns regarding on anything and everything plant related. We make house calls, well, the Extension Department specifically makes house calls to farmers, to people's houses, to deal with any plant related infestations that might be happening within their garden. We check out the problem, we try to solve the problem by giving them solutions to how to handle it. If they have any questions concerning landscape or structural, like structural housing, we also give our expertise on that as well.
You also provide some kind of plant and plantation at low prices. Is that correct or not?
That's correct. We do provide and distribute plants throughout the year. It's usually twice.
Twice a year?
Twice a year.
And you deliver to their houses?
No, they actually come to us.
Come and pick it up.
We have a greenhouse.
But you help them planting these plantation in their houses?
If they have any questions with regards to like, well, we have engineers that go out. We don't do the maintenance work at the houses per se, but if they have any questions concerning the planting methods, we're definitely there to offer.
Do you sense some kind of cooperation with the public? Do you think that they kind of they have the passion to preserve their environment?
Yes.
Do you touch it inside of their souls?
Yeah, of course. They definitely have a passion for planting. They always are, they're eager to learn, they're eager to see what's available at PAF, because we do offer a lot of training programs and courses at PAF for anyone who's interested in actually learning about different topics. It doesn't necessarily have to be plant related, it could be about fisheries, it could be about animals. It could
Establishing a garden or probably a farm or ranch, it's not an easy thing, though it's not a difficult thing. You have to maintain some kind of, a will to build it, correct? So therefore, you have to have some kind of a seminars or probably workshop to show them exactly what to do or what exactly not to do. Do you do this publicly?
Yes, of course. We do offer courses and lectures throughout the year. We actually, they come to us. It's open to the public for whoever is interested in learning. And it's usually a sit down where it could be throughout the week, where they sit down and it's a visual experience, and then there's a workshop that follows so that they could actually get their hands-on experience on it.
Ms. Jinan, always a pleasure to have you here. Please come back
much.
again, and because we have lots of questions regarding our environment, but next time we are going to get to you before the camping starts in November.
Definitely.
So we need to have some new rules and regulations, and also have to preserve our environment.
For
Thank
sure.
you so much.
Thank you so much.
That was from the Public Authority for Agriculture Affairs and Fish Resource, PAAF, Mrs. Jinan Al-Faydachawi. You're still with us right here at To The Point. We have a lot more. Come back with us.
A nature reserve is a protected area of importance for wildlife, flora, fauna, or features of geological or other special interest, which is reserved and managed for conservation and to provide special opportunities for study or research. In Kuwait, responding to the recommendation of the Environment Public Authority (EPA) and the approval of the Council of the Ministers, the declared total number of reserves in Kuwait for the year 2016 were 12 reserves, accounting for almost 12% of the total area of the country. They can be increased in line with the policy and the requirements of the state. They include 10 declared reserves, 8 of which are reserves including ALKHASHRAM Nature Reserve, Sabah Al-Ahmed Nature Reserve, Slaybikat Bay Reserve, Doha, Naqa Reserve, Qadir Reserve, Wadi al-Batin Reserve, Lia Reserve, and Saad Reserve, beside 2 reserves classified under the name of Ecological Fence and Wilderness Center in Alia area and Dilha al-Grain.
Welcome to our second guest for the evening, and he is going to talk all about the plants, but his name is Abdulrahman Mohammed Al-Freih, plant researcher, bachelor, horticultural, master organic agriculture. Good evening and thank you so much for this.
Good evening, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Pleasure is all ours. You brought with you a plantation, and to me, I have an inquiry in mind. What exactly we have right here on our table in our studio, to the point? What is it?
Well, these are my children because
Your children?
Because I have to take care of them every day.
Where's the mother?
The mother's at home. But we have 3 plants which are very important to the environment of Kuwait. And the first plant which I would like to introduce is this plant, the arfaj, which is the plant or flower of Kuwait. So it's very important to our environment and to our history as well. And the other plant on my left is
this one here.
Yes, Colegonum pomosum, which is another desert plant of Kuwait, which is very important and provides a lot of...
is it on the verge of extinct or not?
At this point, it's not at the verge of extinction because we have plans for the future to grow more and more of this plant everywhere in Kuwait to reduce its ability to be extinct. But at this moment, it's not exactly on the extinction list.
You have a passion to preserve our environment. Therefore, you brought some plantation with you to preserve it and also to keep it away from extinction. You must have some kind of a plan for a rehab for the environment. What is it exactly you have in mind to rejuvenate the environment of the state of Kuwait, not only in the marine, also in the desert?
So in 2005, the United Nations Compensation Committee provided claims that we set after the Gulf War. And these claims were made to help restore the vegetation that has been affected by oil lakes or from the Gulf War in general. And by doing so, PAF's goal is to grow as many plants as we can to help provide for at least providing plants that need to be put back into the environment which was lost due to these, for example, effects, aftermath of the war.
Every project in the world, you must have some obstacles, challenges, and probably somebody will put you down and telling you you're not good enough to keep on doing this. In the rehabilitation situation that you are in, what exactly that you are facing in order for you to succeed?
Well, I think one of the biggest issues was that what everybody is pointing at is that the seed viability. So when we go out and collect seeds, sometimes they're very hard to germinate. Or for example, the lifespan it takes from seed to for when it's available can deteriorate very quickly. For example, this plant, haloxylon, it has a very short seed life cycle. So when it does flower and produce seed, within 4 to 5 months, the viability, for example, in the beginning we have 100%, will lose to maybe 10%. So that really is a big challenge for us.
So these are the risks that you are willing to take, like longevity, the prolong of the life itself. It's kind of a little bit critical, is it?
Exactly, very critical. And so we have storage facilities to maintain seed viability for a long time. For 3 to 4 years, will have still a good amount of seed which we can use.
Okay. Are you satisfied with the achievement that you have reached so far?
So far, we are very satisfied because, number one, we have 3 mother farms around Kuwait, which produce almost maybe 1 to 3 tons per year of different seeds. For us, that is great because we don't have to take from, for example, natural reserves or other areas. We are able to be sustainable. I think that's the biggest achievement so far.
What about your collaboration and cooperation with the Public Authority of Agricultural Affairs and Fish Resources? Do you have some kind of an agreement or proclamation with them?
The agreement is that the public authority has the revegetation. So their main goal is to produce as many plants as possible for the different projects that have been in the claims. So for example, there's an area which has been used for detonating ordinances because as you know, in the war there was a lot of bombs that have not detonated. So they put it all in one area and then obviously...
You mean landmines?
Landmines,
Landmines.
Exactly. So because of that, we will, after the cleaning of the landmines and so forth, we come in and place the plants.
This is exactly what you're talking about right here on the air. These are the landmines. Sometimes, like you mentioned, they're not exploded or nobody touched them. And they, they are kind of a little bit severe for every human being to step on it.
Yeah, it's a very big risk for us as well. So even before going out and collecting seeds, we need to have a survey done by the Ministry of Defense to check so that none of our employees or any of the people gathering seeds.
What about the people surrounding you? How do they perceive you? Like you are a loving person for environment. You'd love to keep your vegetation in the state of Kuwait healthy and breeding and flourishing. Do you have some kind of, sarcasms or something like that, or you're not good enough, something like that?
Oh no, quite the contrary. We have a lot of people always calling, always coming to the nursery asking for plants, because especially like when I talk to my grandmother about the plants, they always say, oh, I remember this plant, or I remember this plant. So it's, in a way, it's very nostalgic.
Yes.
But more so, I feel like a lot of kids nowadays are learning about native plants and are becoming interested. So from what I hear, we always get praises and for us to do even more.
Your previous, our previous guest, she was here and she was talking about how to preserve the environment. And it's not a one-person job or entity by itself. It's a community job altogether. It's a teamwork.
Exactly.
So what exactly that you have in mind, especially in the camping season in November, and for every year at the 1st of November, we have a camping season.
Exactly.
What exactly you need to tell the public not to do so and so and so?
Well, in my opinion, I think if we allocate particular areas, which is only for camping.
You mean design for these areas only for camping?
Only for camping.
And leave the other area to grow back,
exactly,
to rejuvenate its soil.
Exactly. And then I think in this way we are able to control. And I think that's the most important. Instead of having people park or
because nowadays we have a broken soil. No matter how good seeds and how good water and probably fertilization, the seeds that are not going to grow because it's a broken soil.
Yeah, soils are compacted. They have, for example, high salinity or high salt in the soil. So that definitely does make it inhabitable for many plants.
Even al-fajr, we haven't seen it for a while. You know, the plant that grows by itself, just like the potatoes.
Yeah.
What happened to it? We don't see it in Kuwait.
As you know, desertification, the wind, wind erosion, there are different reasons why they have been almost close to being extinct. But hopefully with my team, we're able to find these plants and try to bring them back. For example, in our seed storage, we have almost 60 different species so far.
That's in the sea?
No, in our seed bank.
Seed bank,
I mean
seed bank.
Sorry, seed bank.
Okay.
And I think that's important for the longevity of the project of rejuvenating and bringing back the natural environment.
What is the time frame required to complete the rehabilitation program? You have to have some kind of a timetable.
So when we talk about the rehabilitation program, it's broken into 3 phases. So the first is the planning phase, which is more or less complete by now. And one of the most important parts of this is getting the certificates for the protected areas, which is, we have 5 areas now which are going to be protected, and we'll have a fence around it. So it's going to be very important. And then the second phase, of course, is revegetation. So the idea is getting as many plants, around 37 million plants.
37 million?
Yes, will be used to...
Not 1 million, not 2, 37 millions.
Because it's a huge area and we have to try to put as many plants as we can. Even though the area is around 1,000 kilometers, square kilometers, around maybe 70 kilometers squared is going to be used for revegetation. And the rest will be monitoring. So that's phase 3. So after revegetating and putting plants.
Back in the days, our colleague Isa Ramadan, he's a meteorologist, and he proposed that every camp, every tent that is going to be built in the desert, you have to have next to it, like next to the kitchen, like a tree. Like when you use the water, wash your hands, the water goes straight to the tree and it grows. I don't know what happened to it. This initiative, somebody picked it up and then all of a sudden it died. What do you think? Are you going to pick it up or not?
Oh, I'd definitely pick it up because it's wasted water, and instead of having it evaporate, at least the plants can utilize it to grow. And obviously there's other ways we can even maybe try to store the water so that when we see a plant next to
imagine after 1 year how many plants you are going to have in the desert after you leave the camping. Imagine.
We'll see a lot of grasses. That's the first stage. After desertification, no movement has started. We start seeing the grasses, and you'll be seeing a lot of grasses and animals, of course. Animals being plants that have grown in 1 year. But I think it'll take maybe 5 to 7 years to start seeing plants become situated, such as the ALKHASHRAM, which I showed previously.
Okay. The collaboration with the agriculture environment and stuff like that and these entities, you mentioned that you have some kind of agreement with them. What about the oil company?
Yeah, we work directly with KOC and KNPC because they also have the claims. For example, the oil lakes, similar to the undetonated ordinances. So we assist them with the plants because they don't have the facilities for it. So we try to help them out as much as we can. And then in return, they provide us assistance in soil, for example, or media that needs to be used.
The state of Kuwait support the farmers by providing the seeds and, you know, the fertilizers, and also they provide money for them, you know, to encourage the agriculture in the state of Kuwait. Do you think it's enough? Do you think it's enough? Not from the state, we're talking about the people. Do they need more? We're not competing with Jordan and Lebanon by growing, you know, just fruits, only vegetables. Do we need to do more and more?
Yeah, of course, we always need to do more and more because as we can see that the weather is changing, so I think it's up to us to adapt and find newer ways, new technology, not from, for example, Europe or America. I think it's up to us as Kuwaiti citizens to find different ways to, for example, have a cooled greenhouse that is more sustainable for us.
Every once in a while, we have some kind of expert to tell us to wash the vegetable not once, maybe 3 times, and other they go the extreme to use the soap. Is it correct or not?
In many cases, there are pesticide residues on plants and on vegetables, so it's very important to clean it properly.
Properly. When you say properly, like use the soap?
Using soap is possible. Watering many times is also possible.
But we're wasting water. We don't have enough water. If we use it, all of it on the vegetable, we're going to use water. What do you think?
I believe that if we have an ability to reuse the water that we waste, and for example, if people have gardens at home or, for example, have pots, they can try to reuse that water for the plants. Maybe wash the vegetable over the plant itself.
On top of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, people nowadays, they love to grow their own garden. their own vegetables, their own fruits, not fruits like we're talking about banana and mango, something like that, you know, strawberries and stuff like that. Do you have some kind of advisement you would love to give it to them?
The most important advice I would give is to make sure that your soil is well fertilized. I feel fertilization is very, it's forgotten. Like, oh, I'll put the potting soil and then let the plant grow, but
it doesn't work that way.
It will work, but you will not get
When
the
exactly
yields.
do you put the fertilizer? Do you put it during the day, at night, during the middle of the month, or what?
It depends on the fertilizer. For example, there's a liquid fertilizer which you can apply.
I have liquid.
Yeah, liquid fertilizer, which you can apply directly to the plant.
You see the preservation right here on the air?
Yeah.
This is exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, this is one of the mother farms in Abdili with 8 shade houses and 4 greenhouses. And it can hold 80,000 mother plants. When I mean mother plants, these are plants.
18,000?
80,000.
80,000
plants.
Way too much.
It's a lot of plants, but we need it because we need the seeds. Instead of, like I said earlier, instead of going to the environment.
This is an aerial shot. You can tell it's well organized. Okay, what is it?
We have the 4 greenhouses, all with, for example, cooling pad system, so we can grow year-round without any problem. And this helps us a lot in reducing the time we take to get the plant ready, which is usually around 3 months. Instead of, if we used an outdoor facility, it would take us maybe much longer.
What about yourself? What exactly do you have? I would love to visit your house. What exactly do you have in your house? Like greens, and you have all the vegetables.
All types. I have cabbages, I have kale, we have
everything.
Cauliflower, and especially that I really love flowers. So
anybody helping you inside your house? Are you married?
No, I'm not married.
Okay, by yourself and your mother and sisters and stuff like that?
It's actually just mainly me and sometimes my brother's daughter. She joins me and always adamant, I want to water the plants for you. And so I tell her, yes, get the watering can, and no, don't forget to pick the strawberry.
So you encourage her to preserve our vegetables in the state of Kuwait?
Of course, of course. Yeah, she even says I'm the greatest uncle in the universe because of the plants.
Well, she has fun with you.
Oh, because I'm the great uncle, so I have to be.
What exactly are growing in your house?
For me, I love to have herbs as well, so we have different types of basil.
Basil.
Because
that's for salad. What else? We need something heavier.
Rosemary, I guess.
Okay, that's good. Squash, eggplant, something like that, or not?
That's actually, since we have a farm in Abdili, we do a lot of things hydroponically. So all the potatoes, we actually have purple potatoes.
Purple?
Purple potatoes.
How did you make that?
They are from Peru. They are from the, the natural environment of where potatoes came from. And it's a way of preserving
What is this on the air right now? What is it?
These are beets.
Beets, and this one here?
Fresh potatoes.
Fresh potatoes. What happened to the purple potatoes?
They weren't ready yet. They were still in the ground. Sadly, some fresh strawberries.
Yeah, these are pictures from different plantation. You said something. No. You got me intrigued. Honestly, you said purple potatoes.
Purple potatoes.
Okay, explain, please.
So we work with a company.
What company?
In Holland, and they have a joint operation with a company in Peru. And by breeding a purple potato, they are trying to restore the historical value of potato in Peru. And I feel, since I love native plants and I love history, so I thought it was very beautiful to bring these potatoes in and to see the market and see if people.
Okay, one final question. Yep. When did you start the passion of loving the vegetable? When did it start inside of you? Don't tell me when I was young.
Sadly, it was because my father has been in agriculture for so many years, and when I started growing up, he would always put me in the garden and he'd always ask me questions about the plants, and teach me about plants. So as I got into university, I found that the horticulture or planting or...
And you major in what?
In
agriculture?
In horticulture, but my master's...
What's the horticulture?
A horticulture is basically cultivating the earth. So you're taking plants and you're learning how to...
Must be tough, must be intelligent to become something like that.
Always hands-on, always hands-on. So when I go to work, I'm always there to get, down and dirty.
Mr. Abdurrahman, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Promise to come back again.
I wish.
Well, we would like to thank our second guest, Abdurrahman Mohammed Al Freih, plant researcher, bachelor, horticulture, master, organic agriculture. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, unfortunately, this is all the time that we have in our program. To the point, make sure to join us once again next Wednesday at 8 o'clock right here on KTV2. Until that time, take care and keep on watching KTV2. Bye-bye.